right, let's now get an update on the situation on the roads ahead of this Easter weekend. In news just in, 5 people have lost their lives. 3 others sustained serious injuries in a crash on the N4 in Mpumalanga. Our reporter Nonhlanhla Jele is at the scene and joins us now. Nonhlanhla, a tragic accident, I would imagine, 5 people losing their lives. Just talk to us about what's the latest from where you are. Do we know at this stage what caused this horrific crash?
Good afternoon to you and to the viewers at home. We are currently on the N4 toll road in Mpumalanga, which leads into Nelspruit. Unfortunately for us, we are unable to reach the accident scene because of the inclement weather conditions on that stretch of the road. We do understand that it was a head-on collision between 2 cars and that 5 people sadly lost their lives on the scene. We also understand that 3 other people sustained serious injuries, and do know that emergency services are on the scene. But just to speak to us more about this accident and other parts of the roads in the province is the spokesperson for Community Safety, Security and Liaison, Musi. Thank you so much for your time and for joining us at the SABC this afternoon. There's already been a crash. If you can just go through with us the number of motorists that we have seen passing on the toll roads this afternoon.
Thank you very much, and greetings to you, to yourselves and viewers at home. Yes, indeed, we are starting a long weekend on a very sad note. Remember, yesterday on this very stretch of the road, the 2 MECs, Jackie Masie and Tula Tomo, launched they were here for activation of a Easter road safety campaign. So 5 people have lost their lives when a head-on collision occurred between a light delivery vehicle and a sports utility vehicle between Machaladorp and Belfast. We cannot rule out negligent and reckless driving on either of the 2 drivers, but then again, the investigation is already underway. You'll remember that stretch of the road has always given us problems. Remember, we've had a number of crashes, fatal crash, major crashes recorded there. Remember, in December there were about 2 incidences where 5 people lost their lives in each separate incident, and now this one where 5 people are losing their lives. Really, it's quite sad. But then again, the weather is not so favorable. It's actually adverse. It's rainy and it's also misty, and it's very difficult for motorists to see quite clearly. Visibility gets drastically reduced. Hence, we are continuing to appealing to them. We are really pleading with them to reduce speed. If it's anything, increase following distance, and try to be extremely vigilant when they drive there, and wherever possible, where they can postpone their trips, because as we speak now, the road is closed on both sides of the road. So we've been advising motorists to consider using alternative routes. But on the other hand, traffic has picked up on most parts of the road. Safe to say that N4 toll road is among the priority routes that we have identified based on the number of fatal crashes that this has contributed to before during the holiday seasons. Others include your R38, R40, N12, N11, N2, R23, where we have seen over on an average of 1,400 vehicles per hour at one point on some of the roads, especially in Harrisbande district, with those roads linking Eswatini and the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, as well as the Free State.
Thank you so much, Ntate Musi. Unati, as you have heard, spokesperson for Community Safety, Security and Liaison in the province. Umweti Musi, just giving us a breakdown of also the numbers of people or cars rather that we have seen passing through the toll gates this afternoon. Only, Unati, this is only the start of the long weekend, and we have already seen 5 people have lost their lives on that stretch of the road. As he has mentioned before, that stretch of the road is quite problematic. As I've mentioned earlier on, it gets quite misty and rainy just in that portion of that road. Unati, we are of course on the ground continuing to monitor traffic. As I speak right now, the rain is starting to pour, and once again motorists are urged to drive with caution, reduce speed, and of course increase the following distance where possible. Postpone their trips maybe for tomorrow morning. Unati?
Nonhlanhla, what makes it even more tragic is that, that stretch of road was one of the roads that the Department of Transport had been warning about, identifying it as one of the most critical routes in that part of the province. But thank you so much for that update. A tragic story there. News just in, 5 people have been killed in that road accident. 3 others in critical condition, as Nonhlanhla has been telling us. Of course, some of the other routes that the Department of Transport has identified ahead of this Easter weekend are the N4 Nelspruit, Mankweng, the R71, Libode on the N2, Mthatha's R61, Parys in the Free State, the R54, Harrismith and the N3, KwaDukuza N2 in KwaZulu-Natal, N4 Middelburg in Mpumalanga, Nongoma the R66 in KwaZulu-Natal. Of course, just some of those roads that the Department of Transport has identified essentially as critical routes across the country where motorists need to drive with extra caution, particularly, as Nonhlanhla Jele said there, that with inclement weather, it only just exacerbates that situation. And of course, the Weather Department has warned of several rainy conditions across the country.